Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm the house hacker, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that isn't directly related to finance, but I consider this foundational knowledge. If you want to build a future with high aspirations, you need a strong foundation. And so today's video is going to be probably the first of a series on foundational information I think is crucial to build what you need for success. Often what I find is a lot of people are stuck in these jobs where they're miserable, they're stuck doing things they don't want to do. And really the heart of the problem is that they're in this desperate situation and they don't know a way out. And that's why they latch on to these get rich quick schemes that don't actually work. It's through desperation. So I want to focus in on the key part of that. They don't know. And that's really the foundational problem. And what is the basis of knowing? It's the institutions of education that we have. And so that's kind of where our problem starts. So let's just dive into the problems relating to our educational system and how those could be affecting you still now that you're an adult in the success of your life. So I want to tell you a story. When I was younger, I was very good at solving math problems in my head. I was very good at math. I enjoyed math. And I could solve all kinds of problems in my head with ease. And even to this day, I can still solve math problems with ease in my head. For example, just the other day, I ended up calculating the number of seconds in a day because someone asked in my head. Obviously with a minor margin of error because I didn't want to calculate the last amount. Now, in math class, you're penalized in school for not showing your work. What does that have to do with you actually knowing the content? In fact, you're now taking somebody who's able to then solve these problems in their head, and you're restricting them and forcing them to abide by a set of instructions. This is not to help you with math. If it was to help you with math, then showing your work would be optional. And if you get it wrong and you didn't show work, you'd lose all the credit. And if you did show work, you get to lose partial credit. But that's not the case. The case is you disobeyed the instructions. You did not comply with the instructions. The system's designed specifically to foster obedience. That's all it is. Everything else comes second. But first, obedience. Knowing how to be the cog in the machine. That's what it's all about. Knowing that, we can start looking at other aspects. There's a disconnect across the board with functionality in terms of what is needed in industries that are out there and what is taught in the educational system. And we're not talking about like information so much as we're talking about processes. So let's look at writing essays, for example. If you write a 10-page essay and your instructor asked you for a 20-page essay, but you succeed in communicating everything that the essay project required you to communicate, and you communicated to the depth that it required, but you were able to concentrate it. In the corporate world, you would be rewarded for this. In the academic world, you would be penalized for this. And you have this disconnect. One side is focusing on functionality. The other side is focused on compliance and obedience and following instructions. Not because they make sense, not because they're logical, but because you were told to follow those instructions. But I'm not trying to make it sound like teachers and instructors and professors, they're somehow out there to force you into the system, to force you to obey. The truth is, the majority of them don't actually know how the world works outside of teaching. I mean, that's all they know. Their only career is teaching. Almost all teachers and most professors that I've met have no experience outside of just teaching. They got their PhD and they immediately jumped into becoming professors. So they don't actually understand how the world works outside of academia. I mean, sure, you got like the medical field, which I hear has a high percentage of professionals that do end up going back to teaching, but I've seen so many fields where you have career academics that have no idea outside of academia how the world actually works. And this disconnect is a major part of the problem. It feeds into the system of the blind leading the blind. They were effectively taught by those who didn't know to become those who didn't know, to teach the next generation, who will then become the future generation of not knowing. If you're going to follow that, it's a cycle of infinitely not knowing, which is unfortunately why we're stuck in a situation where we're not sure how do we solve this problem, because it is a blind leading the blind system. It's why when you're in school, I'm sure many of you have asked your instructors, how is this going to help me when I get a job? And oftentimes they will dodge the answer because the truth is they don't know. And you'll see that there's a focus on things like math problems that you'll never use in the future, and like little to no focus on finance. And knowing how to manage your finances is possibly one of the most important skills that you're going to know as an adult. And that doesn't even get touched on in school. It's absolutely insane. We give more attention to physical education in school than we do finance. I mean, sure, being healthy is important, and that's another really important thing, but when it comes to building your future, understanding, what is student loan? So many students say that they got their student loans and had no idea what they were getting themselves into, which I'm totally lost on. I don't know how you even do that, but there are people who are in that situation. If they are that lost, our system has failed them to an unacceptable degree. Now, the final thing I wanted to kind of touch on before diving into solutions is the problem with academia as a whole. Even in academia's primary function, the academic world's primary function, which is to conduct research, right? This is in colleges, the number one purpose is to conduct research. Teaching students is how they fund it. It's one of the ways they fund it. In academia, they can't even hold themselves to the same standards that they hold you. This is the other problem. In order to pass a class, you need a minimum of 70%. Yet, there is not a single science out there. We're going to avoid the arts because the arts can be quite objective, but we're going to just talk about the sciences, the hard math, the hard sciences, where there are clear answers. Their research is not even accurate. In fact, you have a better chance of getting the right answer if you flip a coin on it than reading their research. If you go and look at like what they call research reproducibility, that's when two different researchers research the same thing and see if it's reproducible. So one will research it first and the other one will research it second, and then they'll check to see, is this research reproducible? And you will find that in best case scenario, 50% is reproducible. Worst case, you're looking at something around 20% is reproducible. That means 80% of the time, they got it wrong. So when it comes to brand new research, you have a better chance of getting it right by flipping a coin. And they hold you to the standard of 70%. It just puts it in perspective. I've talked to professors about, methods of research that they can use to improve, and some of it's gone over their head. Things that are deeply problematic that we've adopted in the defense industry, but somehow academia doesn't seem to understand it. That's going to have to be a video for another day. We're not going to dive deep into, research methodologies on a finance channel. But I mean, if you disagree with me, and of everything I've said so far, let's look at the statistics. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to have all the links for everything that I'm talking about in the description below. All of this is based on legitimate sources. We're going to be citing things like the Journal of Nature. Everything's going to be well cited in the description. 27% of students who graduate work in a field of their study. Only 27%, which makes you wonder how much is that degree actually worth if you're that disconnected from what you studied. And 38% have jobs that don't even require degrees. And that number, I guarantee you, is going to be growing because there's a lot of jobs in the corporate world that are transitioning away from degrees where they're just accepting, 4 years of experience in in lieu of a bachelor's degree, 2 additional years on top of that in lieu of a master's degree, and I believe 4 in lieu of a PhD on top of that. So that number is going to grow because there's a lot of jobs out there where they say we need a degree and they don't actually need a degree. The metrics are in. Academia does not live up to the standard they hold other people to. It is in fact a system of the blind leading the blind. So, how can you take all this doom and gloom and turn it into something amazing? Well, I got 3 steps for you. And these are the steps that I use. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I came up with this on my own. No one specifically told me these steps, but I would have been lost if it hadn't been for my mentors that guided me through the way. And now that I look back at the decisions that were being made, I can identify that these 3 steps are the steps that I ended up taking based off of the guidance of my mentors, because they guided me. And if it hadn't been for them, I would have been lost like most of my friends that were in college with me. So, step 1. Before you ask yourself if you should go get this degree, this certification, this training, this additional education, ask yourself, how is this specifically going to help me in my career, in my focus for the future? How is this going to help me move forward? So I'm going to use one of my examples. I went and got a certification in my field called product owner, certified product owner. And that's for the when I switched to software, this helped me with the transition. I specifically identified that certification as a key certification, as that's the one that industry-wide was being seen as the one for product owners to get. Now, there were other ones, but that one was the most popular one. Arguably, you could say there were other certificates that are functionally better, but that was the certificate that was most widely accepted. So, which dives us into the number 2. Is there a market demand for the education you're going to be taking? Go look. All you have to do is open up one of these job websites and look at what the job postings list. They're going to have all the certs that they're looking for. And you're going to start noticing a pattern when you start reading through these. They're going to repeat the same thing. What are they repeating? You need that. And finally, what is the cost-benefit analysis that you're going to be doing on this? How much is it going to cost, and how much is it going to return? So, a quick story on this. When I was transitioning from defense to software, I was looking at what certifications do I need to get. And I identified 2 key certifications that I needed, and a few other ones that were extra. The first one was the product owner, and then the second one was what we call PMP, Project Management Professional. And I identified those. I determined that if I get those 2 certificates, that's going to be a major boost. I looked at also going to get my MBA, my master's in business. And I realized that the MBA is going to cost me 2 years of, if I just focused on the MBA and dropped work, just 100% focused on it, that would have taken me 2 years and tens of thousands of dollars. Or I get my company to pay for both those certificates. It's going to cost a couple $1,000s, and PMP is going to cost me 1 week, and product owner is going to cost me 1 weekend. Now, I have a friend that actually went the MBA route, and he got the certification, so he did both. And I just did the certifications. He was 1 step ahead of, well, he still is. He's still 1 step ahead of me in terms of career growth. And when we spoke about the MBA, he told me he regrets it, and if he could go back and do it all over again, he would not. So it just goes to show, you got to look at these 3 steps, because his MBA contributed to his career, and it was clear how it was going to do that. He wanted to move into management, and that was a good one to move into management. There was a market demand for it, but the cost-benefit analysis did not meet. And so that's why the decision for the MBA, I dropped it. 0 interest. In fact, I likely will never get a master's degree. It does not pass the cost-benefit analysis. It just doesn't meet the mark. So what I hope that you take out of all of this isn't the problems that exist out there, because fixing them, it is beyond what I can do, it's beyond what you can do. But knowing how we can improve our lives within this framework that effectively set us up to fail because of all of the issues surrounding it. And there's more issues. I mean, we can, if you guys need a second video where we dive into this topic in depth, post that in the comments down below. If you disagree with me, also post in the comments and I will respond, and we can have a lively and respectful debate. But these are my thoughts on this topic, and I think that once you're able to identify these issues, you can make improvements in your approach and realize that you've been restricted into this very structured format that just kills your creativity. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. Share this with your friends. Try and help the channel grow. And maybe this message can help other people in their careers so that less people are feeling trapped and financially stuck. So thank you for watching.